Hey everybody, and welcome back to another video. This is How to Invest. Spencer here, and this one's going to be an update on Baidu stock. Now I think I did this video maybe a month or two ago, and I made it around, I think, let's look at the 6-month chart. I think I made it around these levels, the $180, and I said that I didn't see or foresee too much more downside. Just based off the fact that how important they are to the Chinese economy and Chinese people, and the amount of money that this company takes in each and every quarter. We look at their price to earnings forward. It's a 15 on average currently for the S&P 23, so very undervalued. Could expand its multiple by 8, which is incredible. Their profit margins are insane, 30%. A 37% profit margin, operating margin of almost 16. If we look at their income statement, they've made almost $120 billion, which is phenomenal. That's up 20% from the past quarter, year over year. Also, their gross profit, $53 billion, so they're earning almost half of it to the bottom line, and that is growing also at. Well, they didn't make money last year, but that's a substantial amount of money hitting the bottom line for this company. That is only worth $57 billion, and almost all of that's hitting the bottom line. That is insanely undervalued, and if it weren't for highly unusual and rare political activities by the People's Republic of China or the PRC or whatever they would like to be called, whatever they're called, I'm not even sure at this point. If it weren't for their actions on other companies, not even specifically Baidu, that this stock would not be this low. If we look at their total cash, we can see that they have almost $170 billion, which is an insane amount of money. They do have quite a bit of debt, but they are able to pay it off. I mean, quite easily with the amount of cash on hand, and that kind of just goes for the amount of money that they're making. It kind of almost requires to take on a lot of debt just to service their growth, because if they were only using all of their bottom line money to reinvest in their company, then they wouldn't be able to grow at such a significant rate. But I didn't really want to make this video on the technical, I didn't want to make this video on the fundamentals of the stock. I'm not really too concerned about their business model. I think they have a great business model. If you guys are unaware, they are essentially Google of China, and they also have autonomous vehicles. So they are in two very, very lucrative industries. But I wanted to make this video almost strictly on technicals because this stock is becoming very attractive from my point of view. So if we look at the technicals, we can see back here in 2017 and 2018, it was range bound for, it looks like about a year and a half, from August of 2017 all the way to well, I guess almost 2 years it was range bound. So it started right around 220 and ended around 220. Went all the way up to, looks like 275 may have been the high at certain points, and would go down to as low as around 200 and kind of bounced around those levels. This was when a lot of people were more apprehensive about investing into China, and more specifically, they had more competition. Google was still trying to get a foothold back in these days, and we saw a very hard selling pressure. I'm not too sure what caused this, but then we can see even more in 2019, and really bottoming out here for from June all the way until December. It really took to bottom out. And then all the way up into 2020, the stock started to rally, and the coronavirus happened. Many people may think that the coronavirus was in March, but it did start in China and was happened earlier there. And it went all the way down. If we zoom out and scroll down, we can see it went all the way down to an $80 stock, which is crazy just for, like I said earlier, the amount of money that this company makes. And essentially, when it comes to investing in stocks, that's really what you want. You want a company that's going to make money for you and increase the amount of money that they're making over time. That's really essentially the only things that you would like from a stock, in my opinion. And after that, from the March lows, we shot all the way up to 132. So over a 50% gain in just 4 months. From there, it consolidated. The rest of the market was also very choppy during this period, just because we had a very sharp V-shaped recovery, and then from there, people didn't really know what to do. They were saying, are we still undervalued, or how long is this coronavirus going to last? And there was just a good amount of general uncertainty. But from there, up after November, we really had a hard November last year. If you look at the indices, they were very, very down, and that was indicated here. We had a very sharp selling off, and then from there we went straight up. We went all the way from $130 to 340, 354 highs, almost a 3x within the span from November to February of next month. So a 3x in 2 months, or 2.5 months, 3 months. And from there has come down over 50%. If we zoom in on the chart and look at 2021, it's starting to look like we saw a very good reversal here on, this was August 19th. If we look here, we had a bottom. We had a good breakout off of that within 2 days, hit the 5-day moving average, and have really been hugging around the moving averages since then. We had a good kind of reversal here, like I said, and then we had a slight sell-off that took a slight period of time, but we are seeing higher or lower lows, and this pattern is looking to continue. If we draw a line here to try and emphasize this, we go from the day and we touch it to here, we have a very good trend beginning. We can see here that we had a very good uptrend breaking right off of 146 and went all the way up to 177 in a very short period of time, which is a very good trade in its own. And it looks like we are heading back down towards this trend line, but are starting to get more and more support. So we saw another green day today as the stock moved up almost 2%, well, over 2% if you include the after hours. And we are starting to break into more and more moving averages. So where I think this stock can go, in my opinion, all of this was, not all of it, but a good amount of this move was momentum and euphoria, and wasn't really warranted due to general market euphoria during that time period due to immense liquidity. Almost everyone got the stimulus checks and pumped it what they could into the stock market, especially younger people. And where I see this stock going isn't really up to 340. I don't really think that that's warranted just because of the risk involved with this company. But I could see this stock going back to the 220 range like we did in 2017 to 2019 and see good consolidation there. So if we hit up to around here, we actually did have a little bit of buying pressure back at this range when it did sell off from 340. People were like, wait, we actually were hanging around this level for a long period before. Why aren't we hanging? And then people were like, no, we got to get rid of this stock. We got to get rid of this stock just because a lot of people had just way too big of a gain. A lot of people had bought in at the bottoms of March and even April and had a double, and we're just like, yeah, I might as well sell. I've done very well in this stock, and I don't want it to be a loss. And that's really what it is when it comes to technical analysis. It's really analyzing how people think and what they're going to do with their money and why. And the candlesticks are just indicators of what is going on inside people's mind. And that was my technical analysis on Baidu stock. So like I said, it's going to go, in my opinion, I would see a trend higher up into the 200 or 220 range, and then I would expect to see some consolidation around there. If we draw a line from around the middle in there, cancel that, I didn't want to edit the moving average. If we draw a line right about there, I could see it consolidating around this point. But if you made it this far into the video, thank you very much for watching and have a great day.